Hello and good morning. What do we have here? This is a Shutter Gif. This one is slightly different in that we have actually 3 frames here that represent a quarter second, a 25th of a second, and 2/50th of a second. Let's get started. This video assumes that you have taken 3 pictures at those 3 different speeds. Let's say you forgot exactly which photo was which. Lightroom has a really cool feature here. When you're in I think it works in library or develop mode. Yeah. Either way, usually in the upper right hand side, you have this little bar graph has a histogram. If you don't see this right side window, that's what this little triangle is here that hides and shows the right side. But in this histogram, it shows you the settings at which your picture was taken at. So I can easily tell that this photo was taken at 1/4 of a second. This photo was taken at 1/25th of a second, and yada yada yada, 2/50th of a second. Okay, so we're going to open these up in Photoshop. So I'm going to shift click. So I select all 3 photos. Now right click, edit in, and then we should know by now to open these as layers since we want to get them all in the same document. We'll open that anyway, yes. And Photoshop goes through its little actions here. Okay, I'm going to start by kind of arranging the layers by shutter speed. This happens to be the slowest. Yeah, that's good. So this is my quarter second, quarter second, 25th of a second, and 2/50th of a second. So now I'm just going to start typing those values out. I'll grab the type tool. I'm using Avenir, and I think it's black oblique as the font I'm using. And I think I'm going to start with like an 80-point font, and we'll just see how this goes. So 1/4 second. And remember, when you type something out, you can edit the text, but you can also come down here below the text. When you get that move arrow, you can scoot that over. Excuse me. I'm going to change this to black. And I'm pretty happy with that. Yes, 1/4 of a second, done. So a couple different ways of addressing the other 2 layers of text. I think the easiest way is to just copy this layer. So I'll right click on it and choose duplicate layer up top. Hit OK. Right now I just have these 2 layers kind of stacked on top of each other. They're the same thing. So I'm going to hide the bottom layer so we're not getting messed up by the view of this, the visibility of this bottom layer for 1/4 of a second. And now I'm going to edit my text. So I need the type tool. And I'll come over here and highlight the text. And really I just need to change this number here, right? Excuse me. Okay. And from here, I'll duplicate this layer. Click OK. And now I'm going to hide the bottom layer, the original, and then use the type tool to edit this text, 1/250th of a second. And that's it. Done and done. I think I could read them okay. From here, we're going to make a frame animation. So if this says create video timeline, don't click on it. Click on the little triangle next to it and choose frame animation. Then you have to click the words create frame animation. This is now a button. Awesome. So here's my first frame. And I know that this is not my 2/50th of a second picture. I'm going to start with the 1/4 of a second picture. So we're going to go down here. Let's change visibility of my, sorry, it's 5:53 a.m. It's a little, my brain is not quite there yet. Okay, I'm going to hide the layers until I find the right ones that I want. So I'm going to start with my 1/4 second picture as well as my 1/4 second text. And I can go back to Lightroom, remember, and triple check and make sure that I'm using the right text, that I'm labeling this correctly. Yes, this is a 1/4 of a second. Awesome. Go back to Photoshop. Okay, so I have the first frame. I need to tell it how long to play for, so I'm going to do 2 seconds again. And then under once, I'm going to choose forever, so it loops forever. And I'm good from here. Let's just click on the page button. This will make a second frame. It will copy the settings from the first. So now in the second frame, I'm going to hide my text layer 1/4 of a second. And I'm going to hide this top image here. Okay, so I know that this is a 25th of a second, and I could check Lightroom to verify, but I don't need to. Okay. If I was going to be really crazy, I might want to move this D over, but for the sake of your viewing this video, I'm not going to change that. Now we need to make a third frame, so I'm going to click on the create a new frame, duplicate selected frame. Okay, I'm going to hide this image to show my bottom layer, which happens to be my 1/250th of a second. So I'm going to show that text layer. And that's it. I got 3 frames with 3 different sets of layers showing. I'll hit play to test it. Very cool. What's even cooler is if we look kind of in the background here, you could see at 1/4 of a second, the car back here is blurred too. So kind of fun. Yeah, I'm gonna hit stop. And to save, it's a little different. Remember, File, Export, and Save for Web. So as long as we have changed this looping option to save forever, I'm now going to change the size of this, image size. So I'm going to type in 800 pixels. And it takes a while to update this preview. That's okay. It says GIF, yes. It's looping forever, yes. Let's click Save. And you just go ahead and name this first name, last name, -Shutter. And you'll be good. I'm going to hit cancel because I've already got a file named that. Thank you. I'm done with this. So go ahead and submit this straight to Google Classroom and move on to the exposure triangle assignment, kind of where all these were leading up to. Hope you enjoyed and have a good morning.